Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Hey, today I've got another cable video. I had a gentleman contact me that I think he's got a chopper and he's shortening it somewhat and he needed the cables shortened. So that's what we're going to do. And we've got the push-pull on the throttle and the clutch cable to shorten up, and it shouldn't take us too long. Let me take you over here and we'll take a look at what we've got to do, and then we'll get started on it. Okay, I've got them laid out here. This is the push-pull throttle cables, and they're pretty much the same, just a little bit different in length. They've got the same type ends on them. We're not going to do anything to this end here. He's got it marked. He marked each cable with a little silver band. So that's where he wants the outer sheathing cut to. And what we need to do is make sure that whatever stick out that we have here is the same when we get done with it. So we're going to cut the sheathing to his marks, and then we'll make sure that we've got the new inner cable to exactly the same length. Okay, I've got the clutch cable here, and do yourself a favor, tape this thing down. They can be kind of unruly. I've got this to where it's completely, this end here is completely at its shortest, up against the sheathing. And then we come down here, and let me see if I can get this a little higher here so you can see. And first thing we want to do is just measure with everything on here. We've got it pulled up, and we've got all his attachment gear there. And we just want to measure from it to the end of our cable, complete to the end, to where this is the end of the cable right here. So it'll be sticking through there and being soldered in. So that's where we need it to go to. So we're right at 3.300. So I've made a note of that. And the next thing we need to do is make sure that we've got the appropriate ends. I've got a 157 or so there. Same there. And the top piece, 245, 246. It's got a little solder on it. And it's for a 2mm cable. And that's what we've got here. Some of these you may have to drill them out or whatever, but this one should fit this one perfect. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut this end off, and then we're going to pull it out of the sheathing, and then we're going to cut our cable housing right here. Then we're going to stick the cable back through and get all our pieces on there and get it to the proper length and solder it on. Another thing I do just to make sure that I keep everything straight is I take a quick picture of it with the caliper there showing how much it is. That way I will not mess it up, hopefully. And if I do, then I'll know. Okay? But shouldn't be. Just want to make sure that we get this completely past this mark. Then we'll cut it, and then make sure that we've got the proper stick out when we're ready to solder it on. Okay, again, we'll just double check our stick out with everything on it. See, if you don't include this, you're going to be wrong. Okay, we are good. So I'm just going to take and cut this right here. I'm going to cut out of all that kinked area. So there's that. And everything is in good shape there, so we're going to go ahead and pull it out. Okay, I've got more than enough pulled through, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that. I'm going to cut that with a whiz wheel. It works a little better for me anyway. And that's where he wants it cut, right there at the silver mark. Now I just bring the sheathing that I just cut up, and we'll just square off the end there nice. And that way there's nothing there sharp to get in the way, and we'll go ahead and deburr the center. Okay, we just want to make sure that there'll usually be a little bit of the inner cable there, and then we'll just take the deburring tool and clean up that where the cable goes in. Okay. Okay, next thing, a lot of the cable manufacturers have got a crimper to crimp these on with. I don't have one, so I just put a little epoxy on it. Just put that around the cable there. And a little bit inside. And then you want to make sure you clear out there. I tried not to put any on the end. Okay. And we'll just clean that excess off. And this is just 5-minute epoxy, so it'll be set up pretty quick. Okay, I've got the inner cable slid back through, my ferrule's on, and my rubber dust cover's on. And we make sure that this is up as far as it can go, and the cable is pulled out as far as it can go. Okay, once we're sure of our dimension, then we double check it. It's 33 or 3.300 is our measurement. And you got to make sure that, I think I'm going to tape that down there. It keeps wanting to kind of pop up on me. Okay, so there's our measurement, and I want just about 1/8 of an inch more for my bird nest. Let me get a mark on there for the exact line first. And then I can go about 1/8 of an inch for my bird nest. Okay, so that should be it. And we are, double check your other end, make sure it's still up all the way, and it is. And just to double check that you've got everything up there where it's supposed to be. Double check your measurement again. And then we'll cut it at the bird nest length. Okay. Okay guys, here's our cable, and here's our fitting that goes on the end, our cable end, and it's got the big hole in it there for the bird nest to go in, and here's our mark for the bird nest. So the first thing we're going to do is get that bird nest, and I'm just going to go ahead and set this up in here. And the idea is to pull our mark down to the bottom of the bird nesting recess, the hole in there. If I can keep my eye on the mark there it is. And then we'll tighten it up. Okay, I think you can see it. It's actually a little bit below the top here. I just pull it down to the bottom of my recess there. And you want to make sure that it's staying in line with your drilled hole, and make sure you've got your cable end on there. And then we'll just go ahead and put our little and whack it. And there's our bird nest. And there's our little black line. I think I'm going to go in there and just push it up just a little bit, get just a little bit more on it. That's probably enough, but I like to have a good one on there. Our black line there is a little lower than that, so we'll give it another whack. There, I'm more happy with that one. There you go. Okay, so this is going to go up inside there, and once that bird nest is full of solder, and this piece here too, there's no way that can come through there. No way. All right, next thing we need to do is get everything nice and clean. So we'll go ahead with our acetone. Clean that cable in real good, and then we're going to clean the brass end too. Okay. We're going to let that dry a couple minutes. All right, next thing we need to do is get us some flux on this. I'm going to pull that back a little bit and get it around the inside. Some inside the, oops. And I just want to double check my length. Yeah, perfect. Okay, I've got my solder all working here. Sorry. Trying to keep it so you can see. All right, I'm just going to set this up, and we want to go in no further than the nipple is, or the end. About 10 seconds. And I forgot to get my water out here. No biggie. So I just go ahead and quench it. And it should be good to go. Yeah, you don't want a lot of that solder coming down here because it'll harden up your cable, and you don't want that. So just go into the height of your fitting, and it'll get up there. There's our end. I just took a file and kind of worked off the drip on the end of it there. That's all you got to do. And oops, hold on to everything here. Oops, I guess I've moved this thing too. Having trouble holding the cable too that way. So there we go. Just right. And I'm leaving this end on as solder. If it's in the way, then go ahead and grind it off, but I don't think it will be. The more left on there, the better. So if you need to, just take a file and file the end off. But I always leave as much on as I can. It's a little different with the other type, like the ones on the throttle. Those, they've got to be, it goes on differently to start with. It's this type of barrel, and you've got to have it ground down in order to go into your throttle. But on the clutch, they should be okay. And the only other thing that I need to cover, I think, is the fact that a lot of these do not have the nice recess in them for that cable birdcage. And I've already done this one. I just take and go in there and drill it so that it will fit in there. And I'll go ahead and show you while I do the other one. All I do is just set this little, I'm going to get pliers. It's easier said than done without some pliers. Kind of get that straight up and down as I can. I'm using my copper jaws here too, so I don't mess it up. And I just take the biggest drill bit that I think I can get by with, and I've just got a little hand drill. And I just go ahead and drill that out a little bit. That way you've got a place for the birdcage to go. It drills easy. That's why I'm using a hand drill, is because it does drill easy. If you try to use an electric drill, you'll probably be through it before you even know it. So if you've got one, be careful. If you've got a hand one, that's what to use. And there you go. The rest of the cables will be the same as this one, just a little different in dimensions. And this is the only difference that I can see, is that I've got to drill a little bit on those cable ends. Okay guys, here we go. Just got everything down here and right to the end, and there we are, right where we need to be. And we remembered to put all our parts on there. That's a good thing. Here's what we took off. And he said it would be 16 inches, and it sure is. Okay guys, there you have it. Just a little short video on shortening a cable. Don't think I've ever done one like that. I've made them from scratch, but I've never just shortened one. It's pretty easy to do, but you've got to remember to keep all your ends and get your dimension the same, and get everything that goes on the cable needs to go on there before you solder it. Because if you don't, it's too short. So hey, thanks for going along on the ride. See you next video.